The FAA requires which category of small unmanned aircraft to have an airworthiness certificate? A. 4. B. 2. C. 3. If the pitot tube and outside static vents become clogged, which instruments would be affected? A. The altimeter, airspeed indicator, and turn-and slip indicator. B. The altimeter, airspeed indicator, and vertical speed indicator. C. The altimeter, attitude indicator, and turn-and slip indicator. V&O is defined as the A. Normal operating range. B. Never exceed speed. C. Maximum structural cruising speed. Prior to entering an airport advisory area, a pilot should A. Monitor ATIS for weather and traffic advisories. B. Contact approach control for vectors to the traffic pattern. C. Contact the local FSS for airport and traffic advisories. What entry must the pilot doing the VOR functioning check make in the aircraft log or other permanent record? A. The date, place, satisfactory or unsatisfactory, and signature. B. The date, place, bearing error, and signature. C. The date, frequency of VOR or VOT, number of flight hours since last check, and signature. True course is A. The direction the nose is pointed. B. Course reference to true north. C. The speed of the aircraft through the air. You hear an aircraft declare that they are midway left downwind to RWI-13 while monitoring the Cooperstown CTAF. What would the plane's position be in relation to the runway? A. The aircraft is west. B. The aircraft is east. C. The aircraft is south. The left turning tendency of an airplane caused by P-factor is the result of the A. Clockwise rotation of the engine and the propeller turning the airplane counterclockwise. B. Propeller blade descending on the right producing more thrust than the ascending blade on the left. C. Gyroscopic forces applied to the rotating propeller blades acting 90 degrees in advance of the point the force was applied. Two-way radio communication must be established with the air traffic control facility having jurisdiction over the area prior to entering which class airspace? A. Class C. B. Class E. C. Class G. An ATC radar facility issues the following advisory to a pilot during a local flight: traffic 2 o'clock, 5 miles, northbound. Where should the pilot look for this traffic? A. Between directly ahead and 90 degrees to the left. B. Between directly behind and 90 degrees to the right. C. Between directly ahead and 90 degrees to the right. What should pilots state when telephoning a weather briefing facility for pre-flight weather information? A. The intended route of flight radio frequencies. B. The intended route of flight and destination. C. The address of the pilot in command. Where may an aircraft's operating limitations be found? A. On the airworthiness certificate. B. in the current, FAA-approved flight manual, approved manual material, markings, and placards, or any combination thereof. C. In the aircraft airframe and engine logbooks. What kind of weather is being reported at KJFK? A. Rain. B. Mist. C. Fog. What is the angle of attack? A. The angle between the chord line of an airfoil and drag. B. The angle between the chord line of an airfoil and the relative wind. C. The angle between lift and relative wind. According to 91.151, what are the fuel requirements for a VFR night flight? A. To your intended landing point plus 45 minutes. B. To your intended landing point plus 60 minutes. C. To your intended landing point plus 30 minutes. You just passed your check ride and received your PPL. When will you need to do your first flight review to continue to act as PIC? A. Within 24 calendar months. B. Within 12 calendar months. C. Within 18 calendar months. The angular difference between true north and magnetic north is A. Magnetic deviation. B. Magnetic variation. C. Compass deviation. What minimum pilot certification is required in order to operate in Class B airspace? A. Student pilot certificate. B. Private pilot certificate with instrument rating. C. Private pilot certificate or student pilot certificate with appropriate endorsement. You are flying through Class D airspace at 3,000 foot AGL. What are the minimum visibility requirements? A. 3 sm. B. 5 sm. C. 1 sm. To act as pilot in command carrying passengers, the pilot must have made 3 takeoffs and landings in the same class, category, and type in the preceding. A. 30 days. B. 90 days. C. 24 calendar months. The pilot of an aircraft that has been involved in an accident is required to file an NTSB report within how many days? A. 10 days. B. 7 days. C. 5 days. A 26-year-old female is issued a third-class medical certificate on August 15th. How long will her medical allow her to exercise the privileges of her private pilot certificate? A. Until August 15th, 5 years later. B. Until August 31st, 5 years later. C. Until August 15th, 2 years later. Which aircraft has the right-of-way over the other aircraft listed? A. Glider. B. Airship. C. Single-engine airplane. How often must your transponder be tested and inspected? A. 12 calendar months. B. 24 calendar months. C. 6 calendar months. Filling the tanks after the last flight of the day is a good idea because A. Force any existing water to the top of the tank away from the fuel lines to the engine. B. Prevent expansion of the fuel by eliminating airspace in the tanks. C. Prevent moisture condensation by eliminating airspace in the tanks. In the Northern Hemisphere, a magnetic compass will normally show a turn toward the north if A. A right turn is entered from an east heading. B. A left turn is entered from a west heading. C. An aircraft is accelerated while on an east or west heading. You fly from an area of high pressure to an area of low pressure without adjusting your altimeter. Your altimeter will read A. The actual altitude above sea level. B. Lower than the actual altitude above sea level. C. Higher than the actual altitude above sea level. What are the 3 ingredients needed in order for a thunderstorm to develop? A. Moisture, lifting mechanism, and instability. B. Lifting mechanism, fronts, and moisture. C. Moisture, mountains, lifting mechanism. What action should a pilot take before entering Class B airspace? A. Contact FSS for traffic advisories. B. Contact tower to get a clearance to enter the airspace. C. Tune into the Unicom frequency. Over a congested area, you must remain feet above the highest obstacle within a horizontal radius of 2,000 feet of the aircraft. A. 1,000 feet. B. 500 feet. C. 2,000 feet. When carrying passengers, what obligation does the PIC have when it comes to the use of safety belts? A. Has no obligation to tell their passengers to use their safety belts. B. Must brief their passengers on the use of safety belts and to fasten their safety belts during taxi, takeoff, and landing. C. Must tell their passengers to fasten their safety belts for the entire flight. If air traffic control advises that radar service is terminated when the pilot is departing Class C airspace, the transponder should be set to code A. 0000, B. 1200, C. 4096. The greatest vortex strength occurs when the generating aircraft is A. Heavy, clean, and fast. B. Heavy, dirty, and slow. C. Heavy, clean, and slow. During operations outside controlled airspace at altitude of more than 1,200 feet AGL, but less than 10,000 feet MSL, the minimum flight visibility for day flight is A. 1 sm. B. 3 sm. C. 5 sm. The pre-takeoff briefing of passengers about the use of seat belts for a flight is the responsibility of A. All passengers. B. The PIC. C. The SIC. What action should be taken by the pilot when operating VFR in a military operations area? A. Obtain a clearance from the controlling agency prior to entering the MOA. C. Operate only on the airways that traverse the MOA. D. Exercise extreme caution when military activity is being conducted. This sign confirms your position on A. Runway 22. C. Routing to runway 22. D. Taxiway 22. The pilot loses communications while in the air. What squawk code should be selected? A. 7600. B. 7500. C. 7700. How far will an aircraft travel in 7.5 minutes with a ground speed of 144 knots? A. 15.00 nm. B. 18.00 nm. C. 14.50 nm. What does the red line on an airspeed indicator represent? A. Maneuvering speed. B. Never exceed speed. C. Maximum structural cruising speed. Airport taxiway edge lights are identified at night by A. White directional lights. B. Blue omnidirectional lights. C. Alternate red and green lights. When making routine transponder code changes, pilots should avoid inadvertent selection of which code. A. 7200. B. 7000. C. 7500. During operations within controlled airspace at altitudes of less than 1,200 feet AGL, the minimum horizontal distance from clouds requirement for VFR flight is A. 1,000 feet. B. 1,500 feet. C. 2,000 feet. The suffix nimbus, used in naming clouds, means A. A cloud with extensive vertical development. B. A rain cloud. C. A middle cloud containing ice pellets. The mature stage of a thunderstorm begins with A. Formation of the anvil top. B. The start of precipitation. C. Continuous downdrafts. Normal VFR operations in Class D airspace with an operating control tower require the ceiling and visibility to be at least A. 1,000 feet and 1 mile. B. 1,000 feet and 3 miles. C. 2,500 feet and 3 miles. An alternating red and green light signal directed from the control tower to an aircraft in flight is a signal to A. Hold position. B. Exercise extreme caution. C. Not land, the airport is unsafe. Under what condition, if any, may a pilot allow a person who is obviously under the influence of drugs to be carried aboard an aircraft? A. In an emergency or if the person is a medical patient under proper care. B. Only if the person does not have access to the cockpit or pilot's compartment. C. Under no condition. Which combination of atmospheric conditions will reduce aircraft takeoff and climb performance? A. Low temperature, low relative humidity, and low density altitude. B. High temperature, low relative humidity, and low density altitude. C. High temperature, high relative humidity, and high density altitude. If an unstable air mass is forced upward, what type clouds can be expected? A. Stratus clouds with little vertical development. B. Stratus clouds with considerable associated turbulence. C. Clouds with considerable vertical development and associated turbulence. Where may an aircraft's operating limitations be found if the aircraft has an experimental or special light sport airworthiness certificate? A. Attached to the airworthiness certificate. B. In the current, FAA-approved flight manual. C. In the aircraft airframe and engine logbooks.